So our journey through Hebrews takes us today to some words of encouragement by the author of this homily. You got to remember, so again, he's writing to Jewish Christians that were more likely also priests of the Old Covenant, of the Levi priesthood. And again, the author's trying to make an argument as to why the sacrifice of Jesus on Good Friday is the sacrifice that replaces all the other Old Testament sacrifices, which means pretty much that these Jewish Christians are out of work, right? That's what's happening here. They have to change a significant part of their lives. Part of their lives where I'm sure they devoted a lot of time to training and to learning. It was their way of life. It was at least part of the routine of their life to serve as priests in the temple. And now they're being told, because of this person, Jesus, that you don't have to do that anymore. So it's like begs the questions for them. Well, geez, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? And so we have words of consolation. God is not unjust so as to overlook your works and the love you have demonstrated in his name. He's recognizing the good service that these Christians have done. Yeah, they're struggling with this whole idea of this new sacrifice, New Testament type of thing. Their faith is struggling in there, and the author is kind of calling them out on that. He just did that in the previous chapter. But also he wants to let them know that God sees the charitable works that they are doing. We'll find out what they are later on in this letter. He'll mention them down the road. But now he goes to the person Abraham. When God made the promise to Abraham, since he had no one greater by whom to swear, he swore by himself and said, I will indeed bless you and multiply you. So what's going on here? The author's going back to Abraham, obviously. And what was the significant thing that God did with Abraham? For those that did my Bible study, you know the answer to this question. He did what? He formed a covenant with Abraham. God promised Abraham multiple descendants, even though he and his wife, that is Abraham and his wife, were barren. God promises multiple descendants. He promises to bless the nations through Abraham. But Abraham, like these Christians in this New Testament passage here, struggling with the faith. They believe, but there's still a lot of obstacles there that are preventing them from giving a full-fledged faith to God and his promises. So what does God do? He makes a covenant, an oath with Abraham. He gives him something visual that Abraham can see. He gives him some words that Abraham can hear. He gives him a physical sign that he is going to be a God who is true to his word. Abraham needed to hear those words. And again, the author of Hebrews is repeating that because these Christians who he's writing to, who are struggling again with the loss of their identity as Old Testament priests, they need to hear these words too because they're struggling in faith. And really, the rest of the letter goes on to say how God is faithful to his promise. And we need to hear those words too from time to time. Again, this is why we have the representation of the covenant. We have the perpetual sacrifice, the one sacrifice that was made once and for all 2,000 years ago. We need to hear those words over and over again. That's why we do it all the time. It's the center of our life. It's the source and summit of our faith. The words of the covenant of Jesus Christ. This is my body which is given up for you. God has given everything to you. Everything. And we just don't believe it from time to time. We doubt it. We question it. We wonder whether God cares. So we come back to the altar. We come back to that perpetual sacrifice. The representation that God is faithful to his word. May God bless you.